Hello dear students, how are you all? I TAUSIF welcome you once again in this wonderful class where we are going to learn some very important concepts of verbs and tenses. As you must have seen the topic today, that important concepts of time and tense. But today, along with time and tense, I will also include some important questions of verb that we have already studied in our previous classes. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to discuss, or we can say today we are going to revise some important topics of time and tense and also verbs, so that these questions will be very useful for you. Okay. So let's start with the first question. So as you can see, today we are going to revise some important questions of time and tense and also verb. Okay, let's start. So here we have a first question. Some of you might have studied, some of you might have solved these questions in the previous classes. Kajol and Srivani, very good afternoon to all, beta. Okay, so this is our question number 1. Answer this question. He wants to keep himself busy. He wants to keep himself busy. What is the error in this sentence? He wants to keep himself busy. What is the error in this sentence? Four. That means, Srivani, you said no error. If you are saying that 4 is the answer, that means according to you, no error, right? Okay, let me tell you the answer. In this sentence, third part has error. Okay, third part has error. In this sentence, the word himself, which is a reflexive pronoun, cannot be used. Okay, in this sentence, the word himself, which is a reflexive pronoun, cannot be used. Okay, it is absolutely wrong. Okay, this word himself is wrong. Okay, why himself is wrong? Okay, let me explain this question. So as I said that the third part of this sentence has error, and after keep you cannot use himself because it is a reflexive pronoun. Now let me tell you the concept behind this question. Okay, so the concept is some verbs do not take reflexive pronouns. Some verbs do not take reflexive pronouns after them. Okay, there are some verbs which do not take reflexive pronouns after them. Okay, these verbs are called ergative verbs. Okay, these verbs are called ergative verbs, right? Some verbs are there which do not take reflexive pronouns after them. These verbs are called ergative verbs, right? Now, what are reflexive pronouns? Reflexive of I is myself. Reflexive pronoun is always taken according to the subject. Okay, so reflexive of I is myself. Reflexive of you is yourself. Reflexive of him is himself. reflexive of she is herself, reflexive of it is itself, reflexive of we is ourselves, and reflexive of they is themselves. Okay, so listen to me carefully once again, that some verbs do not take reflexive pronouns after them. There are some verbs which do not take reflexive pronouns after them. These verbs are called ergative verbs. Okay, these verbs are called ergative verbs. So ergative verbs are never followed by reflexive pronoun. Now what are reflexive pronouns? So reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, and themselves. Okay, now let's talk about ergative verbs. Okay, remember one thing, that ergative verbs, which are also called semi-transitive. Ergative verbs are also called semi-transitive verbs. So as we have seen in the last slide, that ergative verbs are never followed by reflexive pronouns. So what are ergative verbs? Keep, stop, turn, move, hide, bathe, grow, fly, qualify. All these are ergative verbs. Okay, all these are ergative verbs. These verbs, remember, never followed by begin, break, close, begin, break, close, change, 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 crack, drop, drop, dry, drop, dry, and all these are ergative verbs. Finish, finish, improve, improve, increase, improve, increase. Okay, so you have to memorize all these words. Shake. Okay, these are ergative verbs. And what is important about these verbs? These verbs are never followed by, okay, any of these verbs. You cannot use any of these verbs with reflexive pronoun. Okay, if there is reflexive pronoun after these verbs, it will be wrong. Okay, you cannot use reflexive pronoun after an ergative verb. Now the question is why? Why can't we use a reflexive pronoun after an ergative verb? Let me explain you. See, when we write you should keep yourself fit. So this sentence appears to be correct, because when we write you should keep yourself fit, that means I am telling you that you should do something that you can be fit. Okay, so but after keep, yourself is wrong, because keep is an ergative verb, right? Now why keep cannot be followed by yourself or a reflexive pronoun? Let me give you a very good concept about it. Okay, see, we have a transitive verb. Transitive verb is always followed by a direct object. transitive verb is always followed by a direct object, right? Transitive verb is always followed by a direct object. And if direct object is not there, reflexive pronoun must be used. Okay, so a transitive verb is always followed by a direct object, and if direct object not there, reflexive pronoun must be used in place of it. Okay, for example, if I write, I found you in the room. Okay, so in this sentence, found is followed by direct object you. I found you in the room. So this sentence is absolutely correct. But if I write, I found in the room, now this sentence is wrong, because found is a transitive verb and it must be followed by a direct object, but there is no direct object after it. So this sentence is wrong. Now, how to rectify this sentence? How to improve this sentence? In place of direct object, we need to use reflexive pronoun. And reflexive pronoun is always according to the subject. So I found myself in the room. So if a transitive verb is not followed by a direct object, it is considered wrong. And to improve such sentences, we need to use a reflexive pronoun in place of direct object. Okay, as we can see in this example, in the first sentence, found is followed by you, which is a direct object. The sentence is correct. But in the second sentence, there is no object after found, and thus the sentence is wrong. And to rectify this sentence, we need to use myself, that is a reflexive pronoun, after found in place of direct object, right? So a transitive verb is always followed by direct object, right? Now, if we talk about intransitive verbs, intransitive verbs are never followed by direct object and reflexive pronoun. Okay, what is the use of reflexive pronoun after a verb? It fills the gap. It is used in place of direct object. But transitive verb is not followed by direct object. And if intransitive verb is not followed by direct object, how can a reflexive pronoun be used after it? No sense of it. Okay, so if I write, I smiled myself, this sentence is wrong, because smiled is an intransitive verb, and intransitive verb is never followed by a reflexive pronoun. Okay, now let's talk about ergative verb, which is our hero in this question. Okay, a transitive verb moves towards the object. Okay, for example, I posed him. So I did this action, and this action affected the object. A transitive verb is the verb that affects the object, right? So the subject is I, and I took an action, I posed, and this action affected him, I posed him. Okay, but an intransitive verb does not have a direct object. An intransitive verb does not have an indirect object. That's why intransitive verb refers to the subject itself. For example, if I said, I laughed. So in this sentence, subject is I. So I took this action, but this action is for myself. That means this action is not going towards direct object. So a transitive verb has its effect on the object. A transitive verb has its effect on the object, but an intransitive verb has its effect on the subject itself, because it does not have any object after it. So a transitive verb is going towards the object and intransitive verb is coming back to the subject. But if it is ergative verb, now with ergative verb, both the situations are possible. If there is object after ergative may move towards the object, and if an ergative verb does not have direct object after it, it comes back towards the subject. That means an ergative verb can be both transitive and intransitive. Okay, that means ergative verb can be both transitive with object and intransitive without object. Okay, so transitive verb was wrong without object. Transitive verb was wrong without object. Intransitive verb is wrong with object. But ergative verb is correct in both the conditions. Whether there is object after it or there is no object after it, ergative verb is correct in both the conditions. So both the conditions are correct. But you cannot use reflexive pronoun after ergative verb. This is wrong. Okay, this is wrong, because reflexive pronouns are used after transitive verb. Reflexive pronouns are used after transitive verb, and in the absence of object, ergative become, here ergative is transitive and here ergative is intransitive. Okay, so with a direct object, ergative verb is transitive. With a direct object, ergative verb is transitive, and without direct object, ergative verb is intransitive. And since ergative verb is intransitive without an object, it does not require any reflexive pronoun, because reflexive pronoun can only be used after transitive verb. Okay, so this is the concept. That's why you cannot use reflexive pronouns after ergative verbs. And what are ergative verbs? Memorize all these verbs. Okay, keep, stop, turn, move, hide, bathe, grow, fly, qualify, begin, break, close, change, crack, drop, dry, end, finish, improve, increase, and shake. All these are ergative verbs. Okay, let me give you some examples. I grew myself in a very conservative family. Okay, I grew myself in a very conservative family. I fly myself not I fly, I cannot fly, na? Logically it will be wrong. So the kite flew itself in the air. Question number 3. You should change yourself whenever it is needed. So these are some questions that appear to be absolutely correct, and no one can tell the error in this sentence until and unless they have studied about the uses of ergative verbs. Okay. So in this sentence, myself is wrong. In this sentence, itself is wrong. And in this sentence, yourself is wrong. And this sentence is a very common error. Even many teachers of English use this sentence. Okay, you should change yourself. But you should change is enough. You should change means that you have to change. You should change means you have to change. You do not need to use yourself. Okay. अबे शुक्ला जो 7 बजे इंग्लिश का चलता था मेन चैनल पर, अभी फिलहाल वो नहीं है. ओके, बट आज 2 बजे, मतलब इस क्लास के बाद आज 2 बजे से एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सेशन मैं एग्जामपुर पर ले रहा हूं. ठीक है, उसमें मैं कंजंक्शंस के कुछ बहुत बढ़िया से क्वेश्चंस कराऊंगा. ठीक है, तो जितने भी बच्चे अभी देख रहे हैं, अगर आप लोग हिंदी में एक्सप्लेनेशन में आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, क्योंकि ये तो इंग्लिश मीडियम चैनल है और यहाँ पर मैं इंग्लिश मीडियम पढ़ा रहा हूँ, बट अभी इस क्लास के तुरंत बाद यानी 2 बजे से एग्जामपुर मेन चैनल पर मेरी एक क्लास है जिसमें मैं आज कंजंक्शंस के और एडवर्ब्स के 2 चैप्टर के और शायद एडजेक्टिव के भी, कंजंक्शन, एडवर्ब, एडजेक्टिव के कुछ बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन करवाने जा रहा हूं जो कि आपको बहुत हेल्पफुल होंगे एग्जाम में. ठीक है, सो आप लोग 2 बजे क्लास अटेंड करने जरूर आइएगा. ठीक है, चलिए. Okay, now let's see the next question. He hid himself in the room to avoid being caught. ठीक है, now this sentence is also an example of ergative verb hide. Hide. Okay, hid is the second form. Hid is the second form, and hidden is the third form. Okay, so hid is the second form of hide, and hide is an ergative verb, and ergative verb cannot be followed by himself. Ergative verb cannot be followed by himself. So here the use of himself is wrong. So error is in first part. Jaswinder Kaur, beta, you can buy a number of good books are there. आप एसपी बख्शी, अरिहंत पब्लिकेशन की एसपी बख्शी ले लीजिए, वो अच्छी बुक है. मिरर ऑफ कॉमन एरर्स भी आप ले सकते हैं. प्रीवियस ईयर के लिए आप किरण का ले सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये कुछ अच्छी किताबें हैं. एसपी बख्शी ले लीजिए आप. ठीक है, एसपी बख्शी एक अच्छी किताब है, उसमें आपको बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस मिल जाएंगे, एग्जाम्पल्स मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है, प्रैक्टिस के लिए बहुत अच्छी बुक है. इसके अलावा मिरर ऑफ कॉमन एरर्स प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस के लिए एक बहुत अच्छी किताब है. ठीक है, उसमें काफी अच्छे क्वेश्चंस हैं, और प्रीवियस ईयर के लिए आप किरण भी ले सकते हैं. ठीक है. Having had seen Raju in his shop, he planned to accuse him of stealing his mobile. Now tell me, what is the error in this sentence? Question number 3. What is the error in this sentence? Having had seen Raju in his shop, he planned to accuse him of stealing his mobile. What is the error in this sentence? What is the error in this sentence? Now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. You all must have studied perfect tense. Okay? You all must have studied perfect tense. What is the structure of perfect tense? Present perfect. The structure of perfect tense is subject, as or have, then third form of verb and object. Okay, subject, has or have, third form of verb and object. That means after has or have you use just one third form. So in the sentence we have having. Okay, consider it have, consider it have. Now after have we have had, which is a third form, and we have seen, which is also a third form. So what we have done, we have used two third forms after have, and it is not possible. There can be only one third form after have, except been. Except been. Only in the case of been we can use two third form. Okay, so having is followed by two third forms, which is not possible. That means we have to remove had. Having seen will be the correct answer. Having seen will be the correct answer. Okay, have is always followed by a third form. So there are two third forms, had and seen. There is no need of using two third forms. That's why we have removed had. Okay. Now the next question. We had not casted our vote in order to protest against corruption. See, here the verb casted has been used. Okay, cast means to give. Cast means to give, and all the three forms of cast are same. First form, second form, and third form. That's why casted is wrong. So in place of casted, you have to write cast. Okay, we had not cast a vote in order to protest against corruption. Okay. Now the next question. I wish I have a car so that I could frequently travel to my village. I wish I have a car. What is the error in this sentence? I wish I have a car so that I could frequently travel to my village. See, I wish. Whenever we write I wish or right here, I wish, oh that, would that, I wish, oh that, would that. Okay, as if, all these phrases, whether it is I wish or oh that, would that, or as if, all these phrases refers to an imaginary state or action. Okay, I wish, oh that, would that, and as if, and also as though, and also as though. Okay, I wish, oh that, would that, as if, and as though refers to an imaginary action or state. Okay, and in imaginary action or state you have to use second form, which is past indefinite, which is past indefinite. Okay, so whenever there is I wish, oh that, would that, as if, and as though in a sentence, it means the sentence has imaginary state or action, and to denote imaginary action or state you have to use second form of verb, which is past indefinite. So here we have I wish. That means it has to be followed by second form. Okay, so in place of have we have to use had. In place of have, we have to use had. Abhay Shukla, imagination does not mean were. Imagination means second form of verb. Whatever the verb is. Okay. You are saying that after imagination you have to use were. No. You have to use second form of verb. Whichever the verb is, you have to use the second form of it. For example, here, I wish is followed by have. I wish is followed by have. So the second form of have is had. So you should not replace have by were, but you have to replace it by had, because the second form of have is had. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now question number 6. You would rather study than to complain. You would rather study than to complain. See, then, but, except, or. These words are followed by bare infinitive, not full infinitive. Okay, these verbs are followed by bare infinitive. First form of verb is called bare infinitive, and 2 plus first form is called full infinitive. Bare infinitive means V1 and full infinitive means 2 plus V1. Okay, so after these verbs, a full infinitive has to be used. Okay, so in this sentence we have the word then, and as we can see, then is followed by first form. So first form of there, but we have to remove 2. Okay, clear? Okay. Question number 7. All the children went to play after taken breakfast. Now what is the error in this sentence? Very important question. See, after any preposition, only ing form of verb can be used. Okay, after preposition you can use only the ing form of verb, right? So here after is a preposition and it will take an ing form of verb. So in place of taken, you have to use taking. Okay. Okay, now so this much for this class, right? इस क्लास के लिए इतना ही. आपसे ठीक 15 मिनट के बाद यानी कि 2 बजे एग्जामपुर मेन चैनल पर मैं क्लास लेने जा रहा हूं, जिसमें आज कंजंक्शन, एडवर्ब और एडजेक्टिव के कुछ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन कराऊंगा. 2 घंटे की वो क्लास होगी, 2 बजे से लेकर के 4 बजे तक. ठीक है. और उस क्लास में तकरीबन 20 क्वेश्चंस कंजंक्शंस के, 10-15 क्वेश्चंस एडवर्ब के, 10-15 क्वेश्चंस एडजेक्टिव के मैं कराऊंगा. ठीक है. तो वो क्लास जरूर करिएगा. जितने भी बच्चे इस वक्त देख रहे हैं वो 15 मिनट के बाद एग्जामपुर मेन चैनल पर, जो हमारा एग्जामपुर नाम से चैनल है, उस चैनल पर आ जाइए. आपको मेरी क्लास मिलेगी. तो बहुत ही बढ़िया अच्छी क्लास होने वाली है. वहां पर आपको एडवर्ब, कंजंक्शन और एडजेक्टिव के क्वेश्चंस मिलेंगे. ठीक है. तो मिलते हैं 2 बजे बच्चों. सभी आ जाइएगा. तब तक के लिए गुड बाय.